New organization, Deyvison De Los Santos keeps on hitting. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5 on Saturday, August 17th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White and 5 prospects on the verge. Jayson Dominguez with the Yankees, Dylan Cruz with the Nationals, Deyvison De Los Santos with the Marlins, Shea Whitcomb with the Astros, and Brandon Sproat with the Mets. Scott, we haven't done this in a couple of weeks, but I see there are some new additions to the list.
Yeah, there are. How about that? So it's not a great time for stashing prospects, I'll point out. A lot of the ones that I thought were worth stashing have been called up by now, and it's been a difficult year for debuting prospects anyway. So I would say the only two of this list that I'm genuinely excited to stash are Jayson Dominguez, who the Yankees could use in their lineup, having recently lost Jazz Chisholm, but Chisholm was playing third base, not the outfield, which is all Dominguez can play, and there's still not an opening in the outfield. So unless they're going to do something crazy like move Aaron Judge to first base, Jayson Dominguez is going to have to bide his time for now. But, you know, a lot of those outfielders are no strangers to injury, so it could still happen. Dylan Cruz, there's been a lot of smoke about a potential late season promotion. I'm not sure the numbers have warranted it. Until recently, he's picked up the production of late, and the underlying numbers for Dylan Cruz, how hard he hits the ball, how often he hits the ball, plate discipline in general, they've been good. So I think there's a decent chance he gets called up here over the final 6 weeks. Deyvison De Los Santos, I think there's a decent chance. I'm just not sure there's going to be much of an impact there for fantasy because I think there are some clear flaws in his game. He chases a lot. Chase rate over 40%. And I think major league pitchers could take advantage of that better than minor league pitchers could. Though I will point out, Christian Encarnacion Strand had a similar chase rate in the minors last year, and he came up and did make a serviceable impact in fantasy. So it could happen for Deyvison De Los Santos if he gets called up to play first base for the Marlins. Shea Whitcomb's been a good power and speed guy in the minors the last 2 years, has cut way down on the strikeouts in his return to AAA this year. I think he's kind of being underrated as a prospect in general, but I'm not sure if he has room for more than if the Astros have room for more than a super utility type role for him. And Brandon Sproat just got promoted to AAA. His first couple starts there were kind of rough. But the Mets, New York media is talking about maybe him getting a chance at the end of the year if things improve quickly at AAA. So that's why Brandon Sproat is on this list. He has been a big riser among pitching prospects this year.
5 prospects who are on the periphery. These are names that are making some noise lately. And Roman Anthony, an outfielder with the Red Sox. Tyler Stewart, a pitcher with the Nationals. Trey Morgan, first baseman with the Rays. Steven Zobak, a starting pitcher with the Royals. And Giancarlos Lara, a starting pitcher with the Braves.
I think Roman Anthony, who just got promoted to AAA, has been on fire since the All-Star break. Power, speed, good exit velocities, good on-base skills. I think he needs to be in the discussion for top prospect in baseball now. I'm not saying he is, but presuming Jackson Holiday, Junior Caminero, they use up their prospect eligibility for the end of this season. I think Roman Anthony at least belongs in the discussion. We'll see how his time at AAA goes, but he's made it there at only 20 years old. So that's another good sign for Roman Anthony's upside. Trey Morgan is interesting for the Rays, a first base prospect. They, of course, have a higher profile one in Xavier Isaac. But Trey Morgan, if they both become major league level talents, Morgan's going to be the one playing first base because he is an exceptional defender at that position, able to play well off the bat, great reflexes. I don't know if Xavier Isaac would have to be a DH or something. I don't know. Morgan's hitting about 350 in the minors, more walks than strikeouts. He's stolen a good number of bases for a first baseman. The power isn't quite up to first base standards, but it's not nothing. I would say for fantasy purposes, Trey Morgan kind of reminds me of like a Yandy Diaz, which is fitting since it's the Rays. As for Tyler Stewart, Steven Zobak, and Giancarlos Lara of the Braves. They've been showing good stuff recently in the minors. I encourage you to check out their numbers. None of them is like a super high-end prospect, but a lot of times breakout pitchers aren't appreciated in the prospect ranks early on and only become fantasy standouts later.
All right, for more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Odyssey app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we will be back again next week. Bye-bye.